Yesterday's games were fantastic. The Philadelphia Eagles, holy hell.
Whoa.
Boys can run the football.
They can. They had a 130-yard rusher in Miles Sanders and a 130-plus yard receiver in, I think, Goddard.
Dallas, yeah.
I think Goddard. First time, I think, in Eagles history or something like that, or first time in a long time in Eagles history. I mean, they're running the ball. Remember, at the beginning of the season, everybody's saying, hey, Coach Sirianni, why don't you run the fucking ball, dude? All right? This isn't 7-on-7. Then Sirianni kind of settled in over there, it seemed like. And we had weekly press conferences, and although he does speak much differently and he doesn't give the candid answers that all other coaches do, it feels like he's got this team ready to go. Jalen Hurts is balling right now. He's basically a rookie also. I mean, that should be talked about. Last season, clusterfuck of a season, just like Tua's season last year with the Dolphins. It was a lot of complications, obviously a lot of drama. Numerous people end up leaving the building. Nate Sudfeld was replacing Jalen at some point last year.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot. So this is his real first year. And everybody knows of Jalen from Alabama and the situation, then going to Oklahoma, doing his thing, getting drafted late. But everybody said they loved him. He comes into Philly. They said all he wanted to do was work, become a starter. He is the starter. At one point in the offseason, they said, we're going to build around this guy. Then they walk that back like 2 days later.
Yep.
Big time.
Just a complete clusterfuck, and it seems like they have found balance. We thought the Philadelphia Eagles were going to be a dumpster fire. We said, hey, Houston, good chance. Jacksonville, good chance. And then the Philadelphia Eagles might be right up there whenever it comes to dumpster fire situations, as people are firing and departing and leaving and drama, and this guy's an idiot, and accountant's doing this whole thing. And they have found a rhythm. I mean, this team, Jalen Hurts was throwing seeds. Devontae Smith was making some plays last night that are absolutely filthy. He's young. He's only going to grow. The defense was, now it's Gary Gilbert. All right?
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. But if you look back the last 7 games, the Philadelphia Eagles don't look now. Coach Sirianni's got a squad joining us. Obviously, fresh off a massive victory on a Tuesday early evening. Coach Sirianni is here. Coach Sirianni, thank you for joining us today. Right next to at Boston Connor. What has been going on? When did you know that the boys were going to get going? And I was watching you last night. A little bit different demeanor than at the beginning of your stint. It feels like you've really settled into your role here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to poke and joke and laugh and that kind of stuff, make fun of me. I'm one of the best fucking coaches in the NFL. It's as simple as that. I mean, we've ran for over, 150 yards like 7-8 weeks in a row. I'm an offensive genius and guru. It's kind of taken a little bit for people to finally notice that, but, and we were talking about the Gardner Minshew era a couple weeks ago. Jalen's our guy. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Jalen's really fucking good quarterback.
What about Flint Minshew and Gardner outside?
Yeah, that was a great story. It warmed my heart quite a bit, but once we're trying to win fucking football games, and Jalen Hurts, he's a guy. He's a dude. So, yeah, you might see my mannerisms and whatnot, and I'm not saying as many, growing the soil. I'm not doing that as much now that we're winning. Granted, I've gotten some good faith around the city. We got a good football team, okay? There's a fluke interception last night off the shoe. I'm thinking, if we lose this fucking game, people will never, ever let me hear the end of it. But, we settled in a little bit, and, that's all you got to do. You run the football. Jalen still can't really beat anybody with his arms.
What?
So
Coach, last night I saw him on the run, back shoulder Devontae. Now, I guess it could have been a little tighter spot, because he threw it. Devontae made an incredible catch, but I thought to myself, this is a rookie quarterback base. Now, second year, and you weren't there. It was a clusterfuck before you got there, Coach. Obviously, you have turned this entire thing around somehow, some way through all of your incredible speeches and quotes. But I thought Jalen could throw the ball a little bit. He looked a lot better than I thought he was going to look.
He looked unbelievable. And again, the key with Jalen is, you give him 10 to 17 carries every single game, along with, the running game that I basically just ignored for the first 6-7 weeks of the season. Kind of, I don't want to say not tipping our hand a little bit, but, we'd let people know that hey, listen, we're going to run the football. We're going to run down your throat, and we're going to win football games. They'll never give it to me, but I am the coach of the year. They'll never give it to me. But, hey, Eagles might make the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs, baby.
Let's talk about last night's game, dude. Coach Sirianni, don't look now. Eagles are hot. They're flying together. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles. Might have a guy in Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith making incredible plays. Let's go. 130 yards rushing for Miles Sanders, 130-plus yards for Dallas Goedert. First time the Eagles have done that. Jalen Hurts looks like a leader. He looks good. He looks like the NFL game. He's adapting to it in a much better fashion than we could have ever imagined last year, especially while he's going through all the shit shit. The defense, Cox, obviously, I think he punched somebody last night. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Eagles feel like they're a team that is, I don't want to say getting hot at the right time because they have been hot, but they're playing good football. They could catch a team. They could get you if they get into the dance, I think.
Especially if Jalen continues to play like he does and he's hot. And also, like Devontae Smith, you mentioned him making plays. Also, things that he's doing, not showing up on the stat sheet. He had some good blocks downfield, too, for other guys.
Devontae?
Yeah, oh yeah. Blocking on the perimeter multiple times I saw.
It's too small, they said.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
what they said.
They said he's too small. Devontae.
Yeah, they said Kelsey's too small, too, and he's 85 yards down the field outrunning the running back trying to get blocks. Getting pissed when they don't cut off his block, too.
I don't know if you know this. We talked to Coach Sirianni earlier. You know.
Oh, he has to be pretty excited after the big win, right?
Well,
that stadium, first off, that stadium seemed to really get going late in the game when they knew that they were going to win. And Sirianni was bouncing around the sidelines. Like, he seemed to be really enjoying himself. He was feeling it.
Well, he was getting flowers thrown at him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, not too long ago. It was, the rollout of the press conference, coming out of the dumpster fire that was the offseason. Doug Peterson's gone. Carson Wentz is gone. Last year, rolling into the fourth quarter, Sudfeld's coming in. I mean, the whole Jalen Hurts era had been littered with chaos, basically, in Philadelphia. He was the guy. He wasn't the guy. We're gonna trade for Deshaun Watson in the offseason. Oh, Jalen's our guy. And I guess with everything that happened at Alabama and him going to Oklahoma and being this constant professional, it only helped him to become an NFL player. And everybody in the building said, hey, he showed up ready to work, wanted to do his thing. Sirianni, it feels like he might have struck gold over there. Jalen was making some throws that I thought, holy shit, I did not expect that out of Jalen Hurts. I think in the NFL, in the men's league, I just think it's a little bit different than college. You've seen a lot of people have success in college and then not be able to translate into the NFL. They're winning football games, and he is a actual threat. Real threat on the ground that they have to respect, which opens up everything else for Devontae and for Goddard that they picked over. And that pick was bullshit, obviously. But Coach Sirianni is back with us, AJ. If you have any questions for him, he has rejoined us in studio. Thanks to Coach Sirianni, 2X appearance today.
Oh, yeah, Coach, I appreciate you coming on again, I guess, for the second time today. What did you do after the big win with your family at home? How'd you celebrate?
I got fucking shit-faced because, obviously, I went down to Gino's and Pat's, spit in both of those, went to D'Alessandro's, then went home and got shit-faced with the family. Like I said earlier, I am the coach of the year. They'll never give it to me. But we kind of just, my coordination was last night, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Coach, I know this show, I feel like we didn't give you guys much of a chance going into this season because the offseason was so rocky and all this stuff. And a lot of other people kind of echoed the same thing. Like, does it feel good to kind of throw it back in people's faces now you guys 7-7 with a chance to make it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you go back and you watch these weekly interviews, my tone has changed quite a bit. I'm not the laughing stock that I was maybe the first 5 or 6 weeks. Like I said, we slow played our hand the entire season. Everyone say, hey, look at this fucking doofus talking. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking about weird shit in press conferences. And then we just run footballs down people's throats week after week after week after week after week after week. I mean, like I said, dog mentality. People wanted to make fun of that too. But guess what? We are dogs. We don't bark. We just bite. And Ron Rivera found that out last night.
He did, didn't he, Coach? And it's not just the dogs, mentality. How about your offensive line, dogs? Yeah. Those dudes run 4.4s, it look. There's like 3 of them getting out on the edge, basically. Yeah. And both, like, for Jalen.
Hey, we talked about this yesterday, didn't we? That's a threat, too. If they're trying to block the corner, those DBs can't go low on them, so they know, like, all right, we're going to win this block.
I was talking about this in the first hour because some people who maybe, haven't played the game or seen the game, and I've been very lucky to be just front row. I've never actually played in a lot of the positions of importance, obviously. I mean, I was quarterback a couple times, so I guess that's the most important, but you get the other ones. When the offensive line gets out there and they're pulling, there isn't always a massive collision because there's a lot of people trying to run around the offensive lineman. That's a block. Like
that's a win. That's a win for that O lineman. That's a loss for that defensive player.
Bingo. So whenever you get 2 offensive linemen that can run, it seems like they're like 50. Kelsey's running like 15, 16 miles an hour, I think. And he's fucking 285, 290.
He's still doing it too. He was doing that. I mean, I remember watching Kelsey on film for years and years of him so far down the field, blocking guys like 50 yards downfield and running so fast. And I've always thought, like, at least as an inside backer, when a center can move like Kelsey can and they can get out to the second level so quick, like, if you think they're undersized, it doesn't matter. Like, those guys are so difficult to handle.
Jason Kelsey can pound a beer too. Absolutely love that man as a human and as a player. And it feels like with what we're talking about with playoff football, especially this year, we just got done talking to Dalvin Cook about it. The only judgment on all these teams that are good, that whether or not they can make it or not, is, hey, can you stop the run game whenever it shows up? The Patriots proved that they can win a game with just the run game.
Yep.
They proved, hey, if we have to just run, we can do it. We can stop the run. They were able to prove it. The Colts can run the ball no matter what. It doesn't matter where they are. Actually, if the weather gets worse and they're not in the dome, it might even benefit them because of the way the offensive line can move.
Yep.
And it's interesting that the Bills are not built the way or constructed the way the Colts are with the two different homes that they have. Both teams very good, but that's the conversation beginning and end for the playoffs. It feels like this year. Hasn't always been this way, but this year it feels like, can you run the ball and can you stop the run is going to inevitably be what makes you go. The Eagles can fucking run the ball.
Yeah.
Hey, the Eagles can run the rock. If they sneak in. Now, Cowboys 10-4. They're taking on the Washington football team Sunday Night Football. They're obviously in the driver's seat for the NFC East in a home playoff game. Now, there's a lot of football still to be played. Who knows what's going to happen? We don't know shit about any of these games, especially with how the season has gone. But the Eagles, they're on a run. They're 7-7. 27 out of 32 NFL teams are still alive right now. That's a team that can continue to win, and they're 10-7. I mean, they're in.
Yeah.
They'll be in on the NFC side, and if they can run and get hot, look out for fucking Sirianni.
Scary team.
Whoa.